to the lesson. Open your student's book on page 68. The lesson title is Relative Clauses. You can call them also relative pronouns. It is called relative because it relates the word that its relative clause modifies. So we have 7 relative clauses: who, that, which, where, whose, and when. So why do we use relative pronouns? Well, let's look at this example. This is Ahmad. Ahmad won the prize. So if you can see, we have 2 parts in this sentence. We have 2 clauses. The first clause is this is Ahmad, and the second clause is Ahmad won the prize. So if we want to connect the 2 clauses and make them in one sentence, we use a relative pronoun. So this is Ahmad who won the prize. Look at the second example. Ali has a daughter. His daughter is 5 years old. So if we want to connect the 2 clauses in this sentence and make it an easy sentence, we have to use a relative pronoun. Ali has a daughter who is 5 years old. And now we're going to study each one of them in details so that you know how to use them in sentences. So let's look at the first relative pronoun, who and that. We use who and that to talk about people. Let's look at the sentence example. Ali met the guy who or that Sarah is going to marry. Who and that function in the same way when you talk about people. So you can either use who or that. And if you can see, Ali met the guy who Sarah is going to marry. So this relative pronoun who or that, they relate the clause with the person, Ali. Second example. We don't know the person who or that donated this money. So in this sentence, we related the person who, the donation of money with the person who donated. Third example. Carla is an interesting woman who or that lives next door. So in this sentence, we have used the relative clause who or that to relate the person who lives next door and who is Carla. John is a good man who or that I can trust. So in this sentence, we have related the second clause, the trust, to John. So we use who or that when we talk about people. The next relative pronoun that you need to learn about is the relative pronoun that we use for things. And for things, we use which or that. The 2 relative pronouns, they function in the same way when we talk about things. Let's take a look at the examples. We bought a house. Which or that is 200 years old. And here in this sentence, we've related the age of the house to the house, which is a thing. The second example, I sent the letter which or that I wrote to my family. And here we have related this clause to the letter, which is a thing. Lisa found the dress which or that was lost for days. And here we've related lost for days with the dress. And so we use which and that when we talk about things. And now the relative pronoun that is used to talk about position is whose. So we use whose to talk about position. Position means the things of someone or things that belong to someone. So let's take a look at the examples. This is the car whose owner is always angry. So here we have related the owner of the car by using the relative pronoun whose. The second example. I know this man whose jacket is red. So in this sentence, we've related the red jacket to the man by using the relative pronoun whose. In the third example, I have a friend whose cat is annoying. In this sentence, we have related the cat to its owner, my friend. In the last example, never go to a doctor whose office plants have died. So, the position of the office plants is for the doctor. So we use whose when we talk about position, things that belong to someone. And for places, we use the relative pronoun where. So we use where when we talk about places. So if you see a place in the sentence, you have to use the relative pronoun where. Let's look at the examples. Number 1, the president reached the airport where the people welcomed him. So here we have connected or relate the place that people welcome the president, which is the airport. The second example, I went to school where my brothers are studying. So here we have connected the place that where my brother's studying, which is the school, by using the relative pronoun where. The third example, I want to live in a place where there is a lot to do. And here we have related the place where there is a lot to do by using the relative pronoun where. This is the park where I met my friend for the first time. In this sentence, we've related the place that I met my friend for the first time using the relative pronoun where, which is the park. So we use where when we talk about places. The last relative pronoun that you need to learn about is for times. We use when we talk about times. Let's look at the examples. The day when the concert takes place is Sunday. So here we're talking about the day and it's a time, so we use the relative pronoun when. The year when you were born was memorable. So we have related this clause to the year that when you were born or when you was born. The third example, the day when I started school was June, and here we have related the day I started school using the relative pronoun when. And that's it. So I hope now that you have learned how to use the relative pronouns in sentences. Thank you very much for listening.